We have a few days left that you are a teenager, just a few days left. That's the most wins from a teenager since this format in the 1000s came to life in 2009. That's 50 of them. You're playing great tennis. It's such a pleasure to have you here in Tennis Paradise.
At just 21 years old, Coco Gauff just shattered a record that most tennis players spend their entire careers chasing. The tennis world woke up to news that has everyone talking, and the numbers are absolutely insane. This isn't just another win. This is history being made in real time, and somehow, people are still finding ways to downplay it. Drop a comment right now and tell me, do you think Coco Gauff is already on track to become one of the greatest tennis players of all time, or is it still too early to make that call? Coco Gauff just hit 250 career wins on the WTA Tour at 21 years and 311 days old. Let that sink in for a second. 250 wins. Before she can even legally rent a car in some places, she's already racked up 250,000 victories against the best tennis players on the planet. And according to WTA, she's the youngest player to reach this milestone since Caroline Wozniacki did it back in 2011 at 20 years and 316 days. So Gauff missed Wozniacki's record by just 5 days. 5 days. That's how close we came to witnessing an even more historic moment. But let's be real here. The fact that she's even in the conversation with someone like Wozniacki, who went on to become world #1 and win a Grand Slam, tells you everything you need to know about where Gauff's career is headed. This isn't some fluke. This isn't beginner's luck. This is sustained excellence over multiple years on the biggest stages in tennis. And she's doing it while most people her age are still figuring out what they want to do with their lives. The milestone came during the Australian Open, which is already one of the most grueling tournaments on the tennis calendar. Melbourne in January is no joke. The heat is brutal, the competition is fierce, and the pressure is insane. But Gauff cruised through her first-round match against Kamila Rakimova, ranked 93 in the world, winning 6-2, 6-3. No drama, no 5-set thriller, just business as usual for someone who has been doing this at the highest level since she was a teenager. And let's talk about that for a second. Gauff burst onto the scene at Wimbledon in 2019 when she was just 15 years old. 15. She beat Venus Williams in the first round, and suddenly the entire tennis world was watching this kid who could barely drive a car, yet was taking down legends on grass courts.
It's a dream debut for the 15-year-old.
That moment could have been the peak of her career. She could have been a one-hit wonder, a feel-good story that people would remember fondly, but nothing more. Instead, she used that moment as a launching pad. Since then, Gauff has steadily developed every aspect of her game. Her serve has gotten stronger. Her movement on the court is ridiculous. Her mental toughness in pressure situations is way beyond her years. She's not just relying on athleticism anymore. She's thinking her way through matches, making tactical adjustments on the fly, and outplaying opponents who have way more experience than she does. That's the mark of someone who isn't just talented, but someone who is obsessed with getting better. The 250-win milestone reflects all of that growth. It's not just about natural ability. It's about showing up day after day, match after match, tournament after tournament, and finding ways to win. Sometimes you feel great and everything clicks. Other times you're exhausted, dealing with injuries, or mentally drained, and you still have to find a way to compete. Gauff has done that consistently for years now, and that's what separates good players from great ones. Her resume is already pretty ridiculous for someone who isn't even old enough to have a fully developed prefrontal cortex yet. She won the US Open in 2023, her first Grand Slam title, and she did it in front of a home crowd in New York. The pressure in that situation was unreal, and she handled it like she'd been there 100 times before. That win wasn't a fluke either. She's continued to build momentum since then, making deep runs in multiple tournaments and proving that she belongs in conversations about the best players in the world. Now she's at the Australian Open, currently ranked #3 in the world, and her projected path through the tournament is brutal. She's already beaten Rakimova and Olga Danilovic in straight sets, and now she's facing tougher competition as she moves deeper into the draw. If the projections hold, she could face Karolina Muchova in the fourth round, Mira Andreeva or Elena Svitolina in the quarterfinals, and potentially Aryna Sabalenka in the semifinals. That's a murderer's row of opponents, and if Gauff makes it through all of that, she'd likely face Iga Świątek in the final. No pressure, right? But here's the thing. Gauff has been in these situations before, and she doesn't seem fazed by any of it. Her record in 2026 so far is 4-1, and she's playing some of the best tennis of her career. Her movement on hard courts is elite. Her ability to adjust her game based on who she's playing is getting sharper. And mentally, she's as tough as anyone on the tour. That combination is terrifying for her opponents because it means she's only going to get better from here. Let's also talk about the context of this achievement. Women's tennis right now is absolutely stacked. You have Świątek, who has been dominant on clay and is always a threat on hard courts. You have Sabalenka, who won the Australian Open last year and is playing with insane confidence. You have Elena Rybakina, Jessica Pegula, and a bunch of other players who can beat anyone on any given day. The competition is fierce, and Gauff is still managing to rack up wins at a historic pace. That's not easy. That's actually borderline ridiculous. And yet, somehow there are still people who want to downplay what she's doing. You'll see comments online saying she hasn't won enough Grand Slams yet, or that she's overrated, or that other players her age have done more. First of all, who cares? She's 21 and already has a US Open title and 250 career wins. What exactly do people want from her? Second, the idea that she's overrated is laughable. She's ranked third in the world. She's consistently beating top players. She's making deep runs in Grand Slams. That's not hype. That's results. The comparisons to other young players in tennis history are inevitable, and honestly, Gauff holds up pretty well in those conversations. Obviously, Serena Williams is the gold standard, and nobody is saying Gauff is at that level yet. But Serena didn't hit 250 wins this young either. Neither did a lot of other all-time greats. The fact that Gauff is even in the same conversation as some of these legends is a testament to how special her career has been so far. What's even more impressive is how she's handled the pressure and expectations. Being a young black woman in tennis comes with a whole different set of challenges. The scrutiny is intense. The comparisons to Serena and Venus are constant. The expectations are sky high. And Gauff has dealt with all of that while still improving her game and racking up wins. That takes a different kind of mental toughness, and she's shown time and time again that she has it. Off the court, Gauff has also become a voice for social justice and important issues. She's spoken out about racial inequality, used her platform to advocate for change, and shown a maturity that goes way beyond her age. That's not easy to do when you're also trying to focus on being one of the best athletes in the world. But she's managed to balance both, and that's made her one of the most respected figures in all of sports, not just tennis. So what does the future hold for Coco Gauff? If the first 250 wins are any indication, we're looking at someone who could end up with one of the greatest careers in tennis history. She's already got the talent. She's got the work ethic. She's got the mental toughness. And most importantly, she's got time. She's 21 years old. She could realistically play at this level for another decade or more. That's a terrifying thought for everyone else on the tour. The scary part is that she's still getting better. Her serve is improving. Her net game is getting sharper. Her ability to close out tight matches is becoming more consistent. All of those little improvements add up, and they're the difference between being a great player and being an all-time great. Gauff is on that path, and if she stays healthy and keeps working, there's no reason to think she can't get there. Of course, nothing is guaranteed in sports. Injuries happen, slumps happen, competition gets tougher. But if we're being honest, betting against Coco Gauff at this point feels like a bad idea. She's been proving doubters wrong since she was 15 years old, and she's showing no signs of slowing down. The 250-win milestone is just another reminder that we're watching something special unfold in real time. And let's not forget, this milestone came at the Australian Open, one of the 4 biggest tournaments in tennis. It's not like she hit this mark at some small event where the competition wasn't great. She's doing this on the biggest stages against the best players in the world. That context matters. That context is everything. The tennis world is in shock, but honestly, should we be? Gauff has been doing incredible things since she was a teenager. She's been exceeding expectations her entire career. At some point, we need to stop being surprised and just accept that we're watching greatness in the making. The 250-win milestone is historic, but something tells me it's going to be a footnote when we look back at her career 20 years from now. Because if she keeps going at this pace, we're going to be talking about 500 wins, 700 wins, multiple Grand Slam titles, and maybe even a career Grand Slam. Right now, Gauff is focused on the Australian Open and trying to add another major title to her resume. If she can pull that off, it would be a statement that she's not just a great young player, but one of the best players in the world, period. The path ahead is tough, but she's proven time and time again that she thrives in tough situations. So don't be surprised if we're back here in a couple of weeks talking about how she won the whole thing. The bottom line is this. Coco Gauff reaching 250 career wins at 21 years old is a massive deal. It's a milestone that most players never reach at any age, and she's done it before she's even hit her prime. The tennis world should be celebrating this achievement because it's rare, it's historic, and it's a sign of what's to come. Gauff isn't just the future of women's tennis. She's the present. And if you're not paying attention, you're missing out on something truly special. So there you have it. Coco Gauff just made history at the Australian Open, and this is only the beginning. If you want to stay updated on everything happening in the tennis world, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments what you think Gauff's next big milestone will be.